that's doable. You know, we could have, you know, each student set up a time where each student does a 10-minute Skype ZMet with us on their picture they collect. We can take quick notes on each of those 24 students. I mean, we're not going to have to spend hours and hours analyzing it, but we can do a quick recap of, you know, each student's image, what they talked about, and, you know, share it back with them in that sense.
I was thinking...
Also, we could create some... we could do a similar exercise to the collective exercise that the students are doing, so we wouldn't produce 24 individual reports, but we could say, well, we see 3 different mindsets among this group of students. Those mindsets are A, B, and C.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I was thinking, is it a good idea to actually we can do a process documentary from our media program on all of the process, and maybe connect with social media and some YouTube clip and do a filming of this. Is that a good idea?
I think that would be great. I mean, that's one of the things we were thinking. One of the nice things we'd get out of this is having, we do a newsletter in the industry. It's a pretty well-respected newsletter. And it's not a newsletter telling people how great we are. It's a newsletter really it's an educational piece. The clients actually look forward to this, and, you know, we draw from other, you know, stories out there in the media, get other people to come in and participate in the newsletter. We were envisioning this would be something, we could keep students' names private, obviously, but we were envisioning this being something we could share with our clients as an interesting application of ZMet, and, you know, a nice tool, a nice way that we gave back to, you know, some students in you know, another part of the globe. So
that's
great. That's one of the things we'd like out of it too. So I think you could do something very interesting with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'd be more than willing to do everything that we could. We have a media program here that has really, you know, the professional cameras, and I mean that's their whole program. When they go out of here, they're ready and prepared and qualified to get out there and start to work for radio and television. So that'd be great.
And actually maybe connect through LinkedIn.
You could even do, after each of those students did their ZMet interview with us, you could even then have that crew of students spend 5 minutes after each of those interviews. They could go and talk to someone in your media department about what that experience was like. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like Morgan did. So.
Great, yeah. I mean, everything. I mean, this is great. I'm loving it. The question for you guys is when would, I mean, in terms of, as a teacher, you know, you have your core curriculum and timing, and sometimes is everything, but of course something like this, I can give way for in an amount, whatever time is wanted and willing to be able to be used. But when would this fit in terms of an itinerary, a schedule for you guys?
Well, that all probably kind of depends. I mean, it's not going to be a huge time commitment. So I think we can probably fit it in, you know, fairly soon, and we can. Or it's not going to be a hard thing to find time to kind of put this into our system. So I'm not as concerned about that. I guess what I'd be thinking is just maybe the next step for us is just to line out whether we're envisioning this to be, you know, a 2-day session. Those 2 days, by the way, might not be a Monday, Tuesday. It might be Monday 1 week, and then the following Monday, or 2 weeks from then. Or I guess figuring out some of the logistics of what we need for these students to spend their 10 minutes with each of our Skype interviewers, something like that. I guess more from our end, just to think out how we, you know, time this out. And then we can send that over to you, and you can look to see if that fits in with your schedule. I think we could start it fairly soon. We can also table it if it works out better with your curriculum. If you say, you know what, I'd love this to be something that we do in early December, we could probably work around that too. So, you know, we can kind of work within that too. But a question I had, if we kind of go this route, would those students, if we're taking 10 minutes, and I'm thinking now the 24 students might be better than the 48, that 45, that would just help a lot.
Absolutely.
If we do that, are students going to be able to, I mean, it doesn't matter to us when we do these 10-minute interviews. It'd probably be easiest if we had some blocks of time generally, but are students going to be able to take 10 minutes out? Would it have to be 10 minutes from your class, or would they be able to do it from a different time? Or how
I don't think it would have any teacher would be willing. I mean, if a kid has to jump out for 10 minutes and come back, I think we're very, I think Caroline knows this. The Swedish school system is a little more flexible than the American in these ways. So I don't think that if I talk to them and discuss, I mean, because, you know, it's an all English speaking international program, and I mean, something like this molds so well with the program itself. So I think all the teachers in the program would be like, hey, this is great, so let's do it.
Okay.
So that's, yeah, absolutely no
Great.
problem. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Fantastic.
I don't know if Dan or James or Caroline have any other comments here, or you guys, but maybe the next step, as I see it, is just for us to pull together. We'll just pull together a brief memo, just kind of outlining what we might envision this to be, what on our end it would be, what on your end and your students' end it would be to kind of get this going.
Great, Lindsay. Yeah. Yep.
Trevor, do you, on your end, do you have a specific time frame in mind? Is it just any time, or did you have a certain part of the academic calendar where you want to fit this in?
What I see right now, I mean, we're talking about media now, and I'll be talking about media for probably another 3 weeks. So I mean, but I mean, in this case, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to just mold with, you know, it doesn't have to go with media at all. You know, I mean, it has nothing to really, you know, this has everything to do with themselves and who they are. So my link was just paralleling it to, like, a company has to understand its products. You know, you have to understand who you are, because you know, are sort of you know, a product in this world in ways. And how you react to people, and, you know, what is your trademark. So it worked kind of good with media in that way, which is why it would be great if we could do it within these next 3 or 4 weeks somewhere. But I mean, if you guys have a lot, of course, I'm willing to do it whenever, you know.
You know, I think actually the next 3 weeks are probably a pretty good time for us, because we tend to get pretty crazy at the end of the year.
Okay.
So I might actually, we'll lay all this out like Lindsay said, but that time frame might work pretty well.
Great. Good. Glad to hear. Fantastic.
Okay.
I'm psyched. I got a big smile on my face, guys. This was great. This is amazing. You know, I was prepared for, what's going to happen if they say this? What am I going to do? This went really smooth.
We enjoy doing things like this.
You guys, it's amazing. I mean, wow. Yeah.
All right. Well, great. Well, then, we'll just be in touch soon. We'll get something back to you. Maybe as soon as tomorrow, and if not, we'll get something on Monday too. Just as James said, it might be better for us sooner than later to act on this. So we'll just kind of pull something together in the next couple of days, send you an email with it, and we can get back on the phone or just use email, whatever makes the most sense at that point.
Great, Lindsay. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Dan, James, Caroline, Lindsay. I mean, thank you so much for putting in the time that you have that is probably very limited for something like this, and giving it to us. This is wonderful.
No, that's no problem at all. We're looking forward to it.
All right. Great. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.